Okay, we call the Norwalk WPCA meeting of November 20th to order at 5:30 on November 20th, uh, without a quorum, but we will listen to what is being said on the agenda. The first item number 2, is public input. Are there any guests of the WPCA meeting that would like to speak on any item on this agenda? I see a hand up for Jessica Roberts.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Ms. Roberts. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you. Good to be here. I'm not sure. Let me try to take my hand down. There we go. Um, shall I proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay. So my name is Jessica Roberts, staff attorney with Save the Sound. And as you may know, Save the Sound has been reviewing Norwalk's compliance with the Clean Water Act and with the consent decree between Norwalk and the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, or DEEP. And from the outset, Save the Sound would like to commend the WPCA for submitting the plan updates required by the consent order on time and for taking steps towards implementing measures included in the master plan. However, we are concerned that neither the master plan nor the facilities plan go quite far enough to meet Norwalk's obligations under the consent order. For instance, the consent order requires the updated master plan to describe and evaluate measures to eliminate the Ann Street siphon emergency overflow from the sewage collection system. And to meet this requirement, the master plan recommends installing a flow elimination structure that can be opened and is expected to open and discharge in certain rain events. Based on this, this structure does not appear to eliminate the Ann Street siphon emergency overflow so much as it reduces its activation frequency. And we'd like to emphasize that failure to eliminate discharges from this overflow, as the consent order requires, identifies the need to take greater actions to reduce excess well weather flows in the collection system. So turning now to the facilities plan, the consent order requires the evaluation of measures to either A, provide outfall 002-1 with primary treatment or its equivalent, or B, to eliminate outfall 002-1. However, the facilities plan recommends advancing elimination of this outfall, or in other words, reducing discharges from it as opposed to eliminating it. And based on this, Save the Sound is concerned that this plan doesn't go far enough towards meeting Norwalk's obligations under the consent order. And one last thing I'd like to note is that while both the master plan and the facilities plan call for the removal of inflow and infiltration, which Save the Sound strongly supports, they both focus on public I&I sources. We believe, however, that private sources, such as roof drains and sump pumps, are a really large source of the problem, and that the problem cannot be solved without addressing them. So Save the Sound urges the WPCA to identify and eliminate both public and private I&I sources. And with that, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to comment.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Roberts. Is there anybody else who would like to speak as a member of the public or in any other capacity? Are there any other guests who would like to speak? Okay, we'll go on with the meeting. We still don't have a quorum. Your comments have been recorded. Thank you for keeping your comments to within the time frame that they asked. And I guess we'll skip item number 3 because we Don't have a quorum to approve the meeting minutes. Item 4, we'll skip. We do not have a quorum to approve that action. We'll go to item number 5, contract operations reports.
Good evening, everyone. Matthew Brown, Project Manager Veolia, here at the Norwalk WPCF. So, I'll stick to the agenda. So, I'd like to introduce to you our new Assistant Project Manager that we recently hired here in Norwalk. His name's Ross Gambito. He started with us on October 30th, but I'd like him to introduce himself. So, Ross, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to make your all's acquaintance. My name is Ross Gambino. I, as Matt said, was just hired here as the Assistant Project Manager at Veolia Norwalk. I actually grew up right on Creeping Hemlock Lane over by Walmart till I was about 7, and then my family moved to Wilton, and we lived there the rest of my childhood, and then I've always had family in the area. For the last 3 years, I've worked for Veolia, Fall River, Massachusetts, as the combined sewer overflow manager, and that has given me a lot of outset with city overflows and stuff like that. I am grateful to come back and work for a city where I have roots and I grew up in, and I look forward and I'm excited to work with all of you. And thank you for your time.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Gambino. Good luck to you, and good luck to us. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you.
Let's
everyone.
back to Matt.
You're
We'll go
welcome.
to 5B.
Yes, the monthly operating report. So the Veolia collection system team completed 3.37 miles of TV inspection, along with the cleaning of over 2.2 miles of sewer lines. Our IPP inspection program conducted 40 samples and inspections. As I mentioned last month, our centrifuge for solids handling did have a repair issue and did the center of it, or the scroll unit, basically the guts of the machine, had to be sent out to Wisconsin for repair. We got those back on October 19th, and we installed them with the help of Centresis on site on the 20th of October. Blend tank number 1 has been on our summary and agenda quite some time, but they are wrapping it up. The coating team mobilized on the metal repairs were done in September, which I had mentioned, and the coating team mobilized the first week of November. They finished sandblasting the interior of the large tank last week, and they do plan on finish coating the inside of the tank prior to Thanksgiving. Break for the holiday, they'll be back to clean and paint the exterior of the tank. This has been a large project, and we're looking to wrapping up this tank, and we have one more to do after, so you'll be hearing about that in the future. Then we also, on a staff note, we have had a utility worker here for about 2 years now. He started, utilities are entry-level position. He took it upon himself to get his licenses, do some continuing education credits, and he's sitting for his first exam. But we did have an operator on second shift position open, and we promoted him from within. And so just a little note there, we have career development is very important to myself and Ross, and I'm glad we could hire someone within for that position. Some parameters to note: our average daily flow for October was 13.9. Our 6-month or 180-day average flow is 12.32 MGD. And that's all I have for the operating report. It was a really good month. I just, as usual, like to share a couple pictures and comment on them with you guys real quick. If I can, I think that's the screen. If everyone can see this. So as you see here, this is John Marson in Stamford, Connecticut in late October. He used to be the project manager here, as many of you know. We did present to New England Water Environment Association, NEWIA, at a Risk and Resiliency conference, and we used Norwalk as the crux of that presentation with all the smart technologies we're using here, pilot programs we've done. Mainly the smart covers were a topic of conversation, the 14 we have deployed throughout the system. Many of our neighboring municipalities over the border in New York and around here attended. Not only did the Q&A go way over because people are interested in so interested in this topic, after the seminar and during lunch and whatnot, a lot of different municipality colleagues came up to us and asked us further questions on it. So it was really a great success. So John Morrison presented, and as you see here, Tim Sullivan is our current collections manager. He presented as well. He showed some trending charts and how our smart covers work. And then, as many of you know, we had DPW Day. It's always a pleasure for us to join in on that. And I'd like to share two pictures. I know we saw Mr. Burnett and many of you there. This is Ralph and myself with, I had the idea of getting which many thought was a Hershey Kiss costume for the kids, but it was a big hit. All the kids, we were handing out Hershey Kisses, and the children were calling him Mr. Pooh, but the costume was an absolute hit. We had a blast working with DPW and everyone on DPW Day, and I'd like to thank the WPCA and the city for the opportunity to join in on that. But other than that, that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Matt,
Yes, sir.
could you just give a quick synopsis of how the smart covers work? Just so, could you?
Yes. So the way they work is it's a battery powered unit that uses satellite technology. And we like satellite because some areas, as we know in Norwalk, don't have the best cell service. So we went with the satellite technology. And the way it works is we take an existing manhole and we can install them right to that manhole. On the inside of the manhole cover, you would have a sensor that shoots down to the invert, and it can either read flow or water level. We particularly prefer water level because that's more accurate, and it tells us, how the levels in our system. We also can put alarms in, and it will alert us if there's a sudden rise, or like for instance, yesterday we had a battery power alert. We just have to go out and maintenance the battery on one of the issues. The batteries last at least, I think, around 2 years, I believe, and we have a service agreement with them, but we have them in critical spots throughout the city. For instance, we did a study with them on Bell Island, Shady Beach, Wall Street, and we originally had 7, and we like the technology so much because the trending charts we can do. It's helped Ralph and his team, with in certain trouble areas, and it's helped us eliminate and just really see what how tides impact and I and stuff like that. So it's really been a great tool to use for the city and for Veolia operating the collection system. And I think you have your quorum now.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Did I just see Mr. Igneri?
You did, but I can't get back in here.
Excellent. Thanks. We might as well finish contract operation reports.
Thank you, everyone.
UST. I'm sorry. Is there any more questions on major on operating?
Well, did you want me to go over item C real quick, or I can if you'd like?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the UST removal. Is that done? You did
Yeah.
that?
So I'll go over C real quick. So the UST removal confirmation closure, what that is there is 2 tanks on site that were removed many years ago. However, they were never removed properly through the DEP, and we have hired a company to HRP, an environmental company. They're going to do borings and things of that nature, and Veolia, along with Ralph and the WPC, are working together to have them taken off the DEP inventory. And then also the main lift pump wear ring replacement. We had one wear ring on our big, large main influent pumps go bad. And working with the team, we decided it's best to, instead of wait for them to go, they typically last X amount of years. And that's the time we've decided to replace all the wear rings to stay proactive instead of reactive on the maintenance there. And lastly, the pump station backup flow controls. This is a multi-tier project because we do have 22 sewer pump stations. We had done 5 about a year and a half ago, and this is the other 5. So what this will do is if there's any problem with the electronics there or the electronic sensor, these floats, just like an old school float, when it goes up, it'll turn on the pumps, pump it down. It'll also alarm us and let us know. It's redundancy on redundancy, so it's really good to have, and it'll just prevent any station backups or SSOs if there's a pump failure or a level control failure. And that is all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? No.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a quorum now. Let's return to item number 3, approval of the meeting minutes of the WPC held on October 16th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Mr. Burnett, are there any
Sure.
comments, questions, or corrections? Before the meeting started,
Just to,
we noted a
yeah,
couple
just,
of small typos, and
yeah.
Daleen is aware of them. Mr. Manella noted that Mr. Brown was here, and I found one misspelled word, but other than that, anything else? Does anybody else have anything? Comments, corrections, edits? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Let's see. I can see Ostafine, Bovee, and Manella. Mr. Burnett, Mr. Igneri,
Yes.
Mr. Bovee,
Yes.
yes. Okay, I got Burnett, Bovee. Okay, that's unanimous. It is 5:49. Is there, item number 4, is there, that motion passes unanimously. Item number 4, authorize the Chief of Operations Public Works to issue an order on contracts to Kovacs Construction in an amount not to exceed $300,000. Is there a motion to authorize the Chief of Operations?
So moved.
By Mr. Igneri. Presentation from staff?
Yes. Including the board package is a letter from Wright Pierce. There's approximately $300,000 in suggested additional change orders that we'd like to add to the Kovacs pump station contract. The big items is at Old Trolleyway Pump Station is one of the 4 pump stations that we're currently in the process of rehabilitating. HVAC was not part of the design. And once the team got there, they evaluated it and they would like to replace what's there. It's not code compliant and it's time to update it. The other couple locations is at Woodward Avenue, which we've talked to the board in the past. Concrete was popping from the walls. So we've completed our analysis. We got recommendations on design, how to best handle it. And basically it's about $60-some thousand to chip away the concrete that's spalling, and then to rehab it, and then also put an epoxy coating on the wall to prevent further degradation. In addition to that, the Killer Brook Pump Station project, we currently don't have a bypass connection, so it makes for a challenge for the operations team to replace pumps and valves. The bypass connection gives us some flexibility. Kovacs is very experienced in these applications, so we're getting a quote right now. It's estimated around $75,000 to add a bypass connection to Killer Brook Pump Station. And lastly, there are several items at the wastewater treatment plant that we're asking Kovacs for pricing because of critical items that the Veolia team, it's outside their expertise, and these are critical items that we like to get done sooner than later. So with all those items, it's about $300,000 that we'd like to add to the existing Kovacs contract.
Any questions from the commissioners?
None.
Mr. Igneri?
One question is that additional funding within the budget, or is that a appropriation? Where funding coming from?
So it's a WPCA capital project, and we do have capital monies to allocate for pump stations that are available, and that's where the funds would come from.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Mr. Igneri, did you have something to say?
No, no questions.
Okay. No further questions. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ostafine, Bovee, Igneri.
Aye.
that Manella?
Yes, sir.
I can't see Manella. Okay, Burnett? Mr. Burnett?
Yes, that's an aye.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I couldn't see all of you at once. That's unanimous. It is 5:53. And we'll return to item number 6, reports.
So 6A is the typical monthly munis report. It's included in the board package. If anybody has any questions?
No,
All right, if not, I'll go and discuss the engineering projects in design. So Brown and Caldwell is our collection system consultant. They're in the process of evaluating the feasibility to disconnect 38 catch basins from the city's sanitary sewer collection system. That project's been ongoing. They've done survey. They continue to evaluate how to disconnect and where's these catch basins tie into the storm drain system. The complexity is, as we look to disconnect these catch basins, the feasibility to impact the existing storm drainage in the area that they would ultimately tie into. So it's not just disconnecting, it's also assessing what's the stormwater impact if these catch basins are disconnected from sanitary and reconnected to the storm. Item 2 is Hubble's Lane Relief Sewer, and test pits were completed last month on Smith Street. We're looking to install a 36-inch sanitary sewer down Hubble's Lane from East Avenue, and then a 60-inch from Hubble's and Smith Street down to Moody's Lane. And that design is ongoing. Test pits are to help locate utilities that we need to be aware of, their actual location. So that way, when we do finalize the design, we can make sure that we address any stormwater or water or natural gas utility impacts. And lastly, the Killerbrook Pump Station Replacement Project. We just had Wright Pierce finalize drawings, and we're going to be applying for a zoning permit shortly.
Any questions on discussion on WPCA engineering projects?
none,
All right, moving on to construction projects. Right now in collection system, the Dreamy Hollow project, which is stormwater and some sanitary. The contractor right now is on Saddle Road across the street from 7 and 9 Saddle Road. We actually have 2 sanitary sewer lines, one on the north side and one on the south side on Saddle Road. They are working on the north side sanitary sewer, making the project modifications. And lastly, the pump station, it's a 4 pump station project. 3 of the pump stations, Karen Drive, Woodward, and 5 Mile are substantially complete, at least the base scope of work. And the Kovacs is moving into Old Trolley Way to start up that construction at that pump station. And we anticipate that pump station should be complete sometime by spring. It's a little bit more challenging, and any additional the change orders that we include as well. So all that work would be taking place early next year.
Any questions on construction projects? Hearing none. D, sewer use appeals.
Yep, it's to date is $24,113.
Any questions on that? Any questions on anything on the agenda or anything not on the agenda?
not on the agenda. I can't get video. The minute I press video, I'm disconnected.
We can see you well.
You
At
can
least I
see,
did.
I can't see anything here. Well, clear up next time, I'm sure.
You look good from this end.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn
So moved.
by Mr. Igneri at 5:58 p.m.? I wish everybody a happy holiday, and we'll see you on the 18th. And thanks for attending.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Stop
Happy
recording
Thanksgiving.
anytime you want.
Happy
Haley.
Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.